Okay, so I have added some powerful search functionality into the BotFlo app, and what I mean by that is now you can actually use the app to do a search inside your Dialogflow agent, and as you'll see soon, it will actually allow you to do a lot of fairly complicated searches. And if you have a large sized bot which has a lot of intents and a lot of training phrases, you will find that this is a very quick way for you to locate specific information inside your bot. Now, to just give you a comparison with Dialogflow itself, what happens in Dialogflow right now is that you have this intent search at the top, like where you can just, like, for example, use some keyword here, and you notice that it allows you to search on the name of the intent, right? And then you go into a single intent and you have this search for the training phrase, right? And of course, you can do that, or you can say yes, and you can see that nothing is showing up. And the point I'm making is that there are two different kinds of searches now, but you can't really search across all your intents for specific training phrases, and you can't actually search for the information which is inside your responses right now. So what my tool allows you to do is, so you go to the to app.botflow.com, and then from the search menu you search across your agent zip file, select that option, and you should have already downloaded the agent zip file to your local computer. That's the first step. And then you choose file, and what I'll do is I'll select this one. It's called messenger checklist.zip, and then you upload it. So it will take some few seconds to process the information which is already in your Dialogflow agent, and you should see this green checkbox, check mark rather. If you don't see that, that means that you probably have a wrong file. You might have selected the wrong zip file. If you got the right one from Dialogflow itself and you uploaded it to this tool, you should be able to see this green mark. Now here what you see is that all the information inside your agent is actually represented in this table format. Okay, you have the intent name, the query, which is the training phrase, response is the responses in the first text response block. If you have anything in the second text response block, it will show up under response 2. And if you have any information in the custom payload, it will be showing up over here. If you have multiple custom payloads, they'll show one below the other. And action, input context, output context, and events finally. Okay, so these are the fields on which you can do a search right now. And if I were to just go to the search box, and let me just scroll down, and let's take something from here. Okay, checkout is the phrase. Let's do that. And I paste it here, and you notice that it's now filtered it down to, oh, actually it looks like this actually happens. This particular phrase is there in a lot of the intents. Now the other thing that I want you to notice is that if I were to clear this, for a single intent you could have a lot of rows in the table, and the way it works is that let's go and see if we can find, let's just make it 100 entries, show all of them. So let's see if we go to the default fallback intent. Notice that this is the intent name, this is the query or the training phrase column. Sorry, that's the response column. So you can see that there are a lot of responses in the default fallback intent, but each one gets its own row. Okay, so that's the way it works. If you are familiar with my CSV to zip file conversion tool, you know that this format is quite heavily inspired by the tool that I have. That is the CSV format I use in that other tool. That is, you have like a lot of rows per intent, and you can, by doing the search, you will immediately be able to find out, like I just did, which intent contains which training phrase or custom payload or whatever else that you're trying to search. Okay, so this is much simpler. You can also search on things like the name of the input context and all that. This is much simpler actually, but what is really powerful about this tool is this custom search builder that you see over here, because what it actually allows you to do is you can do complex Boolean searches. So you can go something like, let's say I want to find out if there is an intent where the query is not empty, and then I want to add a condition, and remember that this is an AND selection right now, which means that both these have to be true. And I also want to see if response 2 is not empty. And notice that there is one intent which actually satisfies that condition. That is, response 2 is not empty and query is also not empty. Now, if I were to make response, just response alone not empty, you will actually find that there are quite a few more intents which satisfy that particular condition, right? So this also means that now you can search for, just to see if input context contains, and then you can say something like ML threshold, and notice that, and you can just remove this condition. You can notice that these are the two intents which contain ML threshold in the input context, right? And then you can do the same thing for the output context, right? Output context contains ML underscore threshold, and you can see that this is also possible, right? So this is the reason why I say that this is a much more powerful search, and that is, you can do a lot of these kind of like mix and matches, and as your agent gets much bigger, you'll find that you might have to do these kind of searches sometimes, and this tool will make it very easy for you to do that.